Good evening, everyone. I am going to get us started. I'm Ann Wakely. I'm going to thank you very much for joining this candidate forum, which is featuring the contest to represent District 5 on the Marin County Board of Supervisors. Um, I'm going to wait just a minute for folks to come in, and then we'll get started. So it is just 7, so we'll wait just a minute. But I'm Okay, so I'm really happy to tell you that you have the option this evening of hearing. We have an echo. I don't know. You have the option of hearing this forum in English or Spanish. And our Spanish interpreter this evening is Berta Campos. I'd like to introduce her. She's going to tell you how you access Spanish interpretation.
Thank you, Anne. Hola, bienvenidos al foro de esta noche que presenta a los candidatos que se postulan para la Junta de Supervisores del Distrito 5 del Condado de Marin. Este foro se presenta en inglés con interpretación simultánea en español. Si desea escuchar el foro en español, haga clic en el icono del globo de interpretación en la parte inferior de su pantalla. Si está en un diapositivo inteligente, celular o tableta, o si no ve el globo, busque el menú de 3 puntitos en esa misma parte inferior de su pantalla y elija Interpretación de idiomas. Luego seleccione Español y luego todos, por favor, pongan en silencio el audio original. Esta opción la pueden encontrar en el mismo menú del icono del globo. Haga clic en silenciar el audio original para escuchar solo español y no los dos idiomas al mismo tiempo. Muchas gracias.
So bear with us a moment while I activate this interpretation. Okay, so I just want to remind you also that you have the option for using closed captioning, and there should be a button at the bottom of your screen that allows you to choose closed captioning. If you don't see that, go to the circle with the 3 dots that says More, and you should find that in there as an option. So you can see the words across the bottom of the screen. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Chandra Alexander. She is Chief Executive Officer of Community Action Marin, who is one of our partners for hosting this event tonight.
Thank you so much, Anne, and it's a delight to be here with everyone. I wanted to share that at Community Action Marin, we believe that a thriving county is one where every resident, regardless of income or background, can flourish. And as we face in our community a severe housing displacement crisis and a critical shortage of affordable childcare, among other county pressures highly relevant for the 14% of residents living in poverty, the decisions made by the Board of Supervisors have never been more vital for us all. And so the questions we're posing today focus on systemic equity, bridging the early childhood education gap, for example, protecting our immigrant neighbors from the trauma of detention, and ensuring that those who power our local economy can afford to live here. We're here to hear how you will leverage local policy and community insights to foster stability and justice for all Marin families. And on behalf of all of us at Community Action Marin, I want to thank you for your participation in this forum. And now I will turn it over to Linda Deere, our moderator.
Thanks, Chandra. Good evening and welcome to this candidate forum presented by the League of Women Voters of Marin County and Community Action Marin, the Novato Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and VFW Post 7816. I'm Linda Deere, your moderator this evening. With me are League members Lauren Vreeland Long, our timekeeper, Allison Howard, our question sorter, and Didi Buturi, our Zoom support leader, the technical support team at the Community Media Center of Marin, and our Spanish language interpreter, Berta Campos. The League is a trusted, nonpartisan membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. We promote voter education and advocate for issues. We never endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. Moderating candidate forums is an important part of our work. Tonight, we will hear from 5 candidates running to represent District 5 on the Marin County Board of Supervisors. This board is Marin County's governing body. It passes county ordinances and sets priorities for county funds, services, and property based on the needs of Marin residents. District 5 includes the majority of the city of Novato, the unincorporated areas of Belmarin Keys, Loma Verde, Black Point, Green Point, Rush Creek Atherton Corridor, and Indian Valley. This evening's forum is being simulcast on Marin TV Channel 30, facilitated through our partnership with CMCM. It is being recorded and will be available through our website at marinlwv.org. It will be rebroadcast on Marin TV Channel 30. Days and times will be posted on our website. There are 5 candidates running for the Board of Supervisors District 5 seat. Curtis Akins, Chris Carpiniello, Mark Hunter Lewis, Magali Lemetta, and Andy Patchadley. All candidates have agreed to the guidelines and time limits for this forum. Each candidate is invited to make a 2-minute opening statement. After that, they will each have 90 seconds to answer each question. To be fair, I will rotate the order. For opening statements, we'll begin with Curtis. Please remember to unmute yourself. Curtis?
I'm so sorry, y'all. I've got to find a spot. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My apologies. I'm in Talkeetna, Alaska, and the Wi-Fi, it's a really ugly day up here. So I was looking so forward to this opportunity to speak with you all. So we're in the 25th century, 24. It just, this is one of the problems that we have in Marin County when it comes to emergency services. We need better Wi-Fi in Novato. So as a supervisor, that's one of the things I'm going to work on. Is it possible to come back to me till I get a better location for this signal? My apologies.
Let's move on to Chris.
Hi. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all for allowing me this opportunity. Obviously, the question has been asked, what does Chris bring to the table? I am, after all, only human, and I don't have all the answers. I do have decades of experience as a leader in our community and a vast number of advisors, workers, business owners, engineers, economists, professors, historians, teachers, clergy, laypersons, parents, students, writers, and even a nuclear physicist, among others. I'm sorry, I'll slow down.
Okay.
Together, and with a humanitarian perspective, we can find answers to the many issues and challenges facing Marin today. We can find alternatives to the waste, the tax and spend mentality, bloated government inefficiency, and the resulting unsustainable burdens borne by our residents. We can address housing, water, immigration, homelessness, and every other issue facing Marin. It is my dream that we can eliminate the waste, reduce taxation and unnecessary regulation exponentially while providing more service and value to our entire community. Thank you.
Let's move on to Mark. Remember to unmute yourself, please.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Thank you to the league and everybody joining us tonight. My name is Mark Hunter Lewis. I grew up in Novato. My family's here. And for a long time, I've been focused on, where the money's going, understanding the budgets, pushing for transparency in our government. I'm running to fix those problems. I know that the federal and state government are shrinking what they can provide to our county. We're not going to be able to pay for everything that we've been paying for, and we're not going to be able to tax our way out of it. Marin's median home value is $1.8 million. The assessed roll grows at about 4% per year. But under Prop 13, that growth has largely built wealth, while public infrastructure has failed to grow. At the same time, our risks are accelerating. The bayfront, it's shrinking at about 4 inches, or about a half an inch a year. The Bayfront Conservation Group says we need about $17 billion. About 11 of that is still unfunded. There's a tool for us right now that will make that easier. It's called an Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District. It allows us to capture future property growth and invest it today. No new taxes, no rate increase, full public reporting and accountability. And Marin is uniquely positioned to use it. We are the oldest county in the state of California. Already 22.6% of our citizens are over 65 years old. And by 2041, about 42% will be over 65. Under Prop 19, which was passed in 2020, when homes change hands, they are largely reassessed in value. That's going to create a steady, predictable stream of new property tax growth. The question is whether we plan for the growth and use it, or we let it slip away. My approach is simple. Capture it deliberately, invest it transparently, and every dollar shows a clear outcome. It'll
Okay.
keep people
What time
housed.
is that, Mark?
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Magali, please unmute yourself.
Hola, buenas noches. Quiero agradecer a la Liga por poner este evento y a los otros participantes que están apoyando esta organización. Good evening. My name is Magali Lametta. I'm a candidate for Marin County Supervisor. A little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Novato. I'm the proud daughter of immigrants and a product of the Novato Unified School District, where I have the honor of being the board president. After graduating from UCLA and earning my degree in anthropology, I began my career here in Marin County. I started working for Marin General Hospital, assisting patients navigate the complexities of healthcare and also managed a team of 50 members to ensure that our budget was balanced. Now I work for UCSF as a revenue cycle analyst. Combined, I bring 14 years of healthcare management, operations, and strategy. I've spent the last 20 years being involved in the community as a former Marin Women's Commissioner, Rotarian, and currently serve on the board of Habitat for Humanity. I'm running for Marin County Supervisor to protect our environment from wildfires and protect our essential services that our seniors, working families, and children depend on. And I'm also running to increase the affordability of and also running to increase our affordable homes in Marin County. Thank you for hosting this forum.
Okay. Andy, please unmute yourself.
Hello, and thank you, League of Women Voters, for making this event possible. My name is Andy Podshadley. I am a native Novato person, husband, father, and grandfather. I attended the local schools. I also attended Anthony Schools for my real estate license, Sonoma State for my graduate degree and business degree, UC Davis Wine Education Certified Wine Judge. I started my first business in 1984. I founded A&J Services, which was a contracting business. I became a Novato realtor. In 2006, I started Trek Winery, served 8 years as president of the Downtown Business Association. In 2017, voted Small Business of the Year by the Novato Chamber of Commerce. Some of my volunteerism is with Thrivent Financial, past president, Mount Cross Ministries in Santa Cruz, past president, Downtown Novato Business Association, president for 8 years, where I created the Bouncy Ball New Year's Eve, Novato Tourism Committee. Some of my civic involvement includes member of Novato Chamber, Scouts of America, California Hockey Club, Leadership Novato. I hosted 5 different groups at Leadership Novato, Sunrise Rotary, work at Wild Care, San Rafael, and Sonoma County Bird Rescue. My community service did not just begin in the last few months or a couple of years. The last several decades have prepared me for service to my community as supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Curtis, please unmute yourself. Are you there? I think Curtis is frozen. All right, well, let's move on to the first question. We're going to start with Chris. The first question. While the Bay Area population continues to grow, Marin is losing people. As supervisor, what specific actions will you take to ensure that people who work in Marin can afford to live here? Andy, please unmute. Sorry, we're starting with Chris. Chris, please unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you. California's population continues to decline, and Marin reflects that trend. I believe the reason is this regulation state that has been created by our lopsided legislator. It interferes with people's pursuit of happiness and prosperity, and they can read the writing on the wall. They know they're not welcome here. Affordable housing and high rents are an effect of this bad leadership. Regulation hostile towards small business owners and small housing providers is choking people. And there's only so much a person can take before throwing in the towel. We need to reverse these trends, enabling prosperity and abundance, and affordability will return to Marin. We want to encourage people to want to come here. Right now, we're chasing people away. A thorough review of all Marin's codes and ordinances will help us to understand where we went wrong and allow us the opportunity to correct our past mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is same question to Mark. Let me know if you want me to repeat the question. And please unmute yourself.
So 65% of Marin renters are rent burdened. Novato hasn't met, Novato's under about 11% of its very low income RHNA obligation. 64% of people who work in Marin live outside the county. That's not a market problem, that's a policy problem. The first, sorry, it's solvable with three levers. First, coordinate impact fees across county, across cities, and special districts. A single workforce until the same, or sorry, a single workforce unit on the same parcel can face fees from four agencies that never talk with each other. Once coordinated, schedule and set actual nexuses would unlock projects that actually pencil out of nowhere. Well, that today don't pencil, sorry. Second, build on public land that we already own. Under AB 2295 and SB 1413, surplus land sites and unused county parcels can host shared equity workforce housing, with a JPA retaining the equity in the shares. Every public land unit is one you don't have to extract from a developer at a 10 to 20% inclusionary ratio. Third,
I
preserve.
think the time is up, although,
Oh.
yeah, there we go. Thanks, Mark. Um, okay, next is Magali. And again, let me know if you want me to repeat the question.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we're probably losing population is the fact that they can't afford to live here. If elected, I will work with the city and our dot partners to increase our homes in Marin County. On the board of Habitat, I am a big fan of partnerships. And for example, in West Marin, we partner with the Bolinas Land Trust to build a new affordable homes, which is for first-time home buyers, low to medium income households. I think building in partnership will increase our RENA numbers. Also, what we're doing in Novato, we're building new affordable housing in the north part of Novato, right before the old Birkenstock building. So I am committed. In 2024, the Board of Supervisors approved $5 million to go towards the Housing Land Trust. So I'm committed to ensuring that we, after 2027, after that's up, to continue to make sure that we have money to support projects that will build affordable housing here in Marin County.
Thank you. Curtis, do you want me to repeat the question since you're having some video issues? And also remember to unmute yourself. Okay, so that question is, while the Bay Area population continues to grow, Marin is losing people. As supervisor, what specific actions will you take to ensure that people who work in Marin can afford to live here?
I love that question. It's fantastic. It's a question and a problem that we're dealing with nationwide. One of the things that I want us to do is we have to stop doing things the same old, and looking for new outcomes. The idea of partnerships is absolutely incredible, right? So we need to partner with builders. We need to partner with landowners. We need to partner with nonprofits to figure out solutions. One of the things that a chef is good at, he, she, or they, we're great at solutions, solution-oriented people. We see a problem and we don't see the problem, we see the solution. So what we've got to do, people who have lived and worked in for Marin, let's say 5 years, we've got to, the Board of Supervisors, the County of Marin has nearly $1 billion of a budget. So that means we're doing banking with so many wonderful banks around Marin County. So we can help those people. The biggest part of getting a home is that down payment. So why can't we as a county help people that have worked, lived, and served this county for X amount of years get a break on whether it's a 0% loan? There's so many great opportunities that we have with the houses that are going up in Novato and other parts of the county to partner with the builders, to partner with realtors, to partner with the chambers of commerce throughout Marin County to solve this problem.
Thank you. All right, the next question, we're going to start with Mark. The question is, high quality early childhood education is foundation.
Wait a second, I didn't answer that question.
No, I'm asking you that. You didn't answer the first question?
Yeah. I'll start. I heard some of you mention it, and it all comes down to our backbone of our communities, small businesses. We have many small businesses in Marin, and we make it impossible for them to make a fair wage, pay their employees, and that's why they're leaving. As the president of the Downtown Business Association for 8 years, I've seen businesses come and go, mainly due to higher permit fees, insurance, repairing old equipment, and the exorbitant costs. We need to go back to basics. We need to help our small businesses. Some of you have mentioned about low-income housing in downtown Novato and different areas. Downtown Novato will, if they put that 6-story building up with no adequate off-street parking, will kill our small businesses and kill downtown Novato. We do need affordable housing. We all know we need that. We need to offer incentives, cash for building using different types of products, money for training employees, lower fees, not going to 5 different organizations to get one permit. There are so many ways that we can make it affordable to have small business, which are the backbone of our communities. And these small businesses will employ people and not leave and go to Idaho, Nevada, Canada to start their businesses. We want to keep them here, and we have the place to do it. A great Novato. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Sorry about leaving you out of that.
That's okay.
Hopefully I don't do it again. Okay, next question. We're going to start with Mark. Here's the question. High quality child education is foundational to children's success in school and life. Yet hundreds of children across Marin go without this essential resource. How would you address this early childhood education need? Starting with Mark, please unmute yourself.
Well, I was raised in the child care system. I went to Novato Youth Center, Moose Sudden Child Care. One of the ways you can do that is by recruitment is the main thing you have to do. We could use Go bonds to build childcare facilities. We can no longer rely on federal funding like we used to or grant money. So we have to figure out a different way to attract young people that want to participate in childcare and at the same time have the correct kind of facilities for it. One idea for that is to have the school district start to incorporate that within itself. Right now, it normally outsources it to most nonprofits, but it could use that as a way of creating a pipeline to elementary school teachers. Currently, there's about 30% of teachers are about to retire in the next 5 years. And a lot of them are elementary school teachers. So basically, you could encourage them to come, build on top of that child care center, possibly apartments. That's our main problem is recruitment. So you have to solve the recruitment problem, and then you have to figure out how to retain them. It's 2 different problems. They're not one and the same. Recruitment is done through rent, and retaining somebody is done through shared equity programs. Because most teachers you talk to will tell you the reason that they were able to stay here on low salaries was because they were building wealth with their homes.
Thank you. Next is Magali.
Yes, providing child care is a local economy. It helps our local economy. It allows women to fully participate in our workforce and have opportunities to move up and take positions of leadership. The average cost in Marin County is about $28,000. I do support our Kids, Our Future initiative, which will bring about $12.5 million and support the workforce, provide subsidies for child care, and also find child centers. So that is one solution that I hope to support.
Thank you. Do you have any comments on early childhood education?
Yes, I will. I will look at the budget and see how we can continue to provide, continue to partner, continue to invest in our nonprofits. I know that a lot of them provide early childhood, and also be an advocate at the state level to ensure that we continue to receive those fundings and resources.
Thank you. Andy, you're next.
Wonderful. Hello. Yeah, I 100% endorse early childhood education, but we also need to think about the families that want to educate at home. We have lots of wonderful facilities around Novato, but as Magali said, $26,000 to send your child to one of our daycares um, is a lot of money. I think we should be able to have people want to stay home and incentivize those women that want to educate their children at home, as well as supporting women that want to get out into the workforce and provide that way. I think it's a multi-tiered, multifaceted question. Of course, we need early childhood development. The smart little guys, my grandkids are phenomenal, and they learn so much up in Sebastopol. But we also need to incentivize and support the mothers that want to stay home and raise their kids themselves. So I think that's a multi-question kind of thing, but I think all of them have to be tapped on, and I think all of them have to be supported.
Thank you. Curtis? Please unmute yourself. Are you there? Curtis is having trouble with his video, but we'll.
I'm here. Hello, there we go. Can you hear me? And
Yes,
Marin
I can
County?
hear you. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Please.
Sure. High quality early childhood education is foundational to children's success in school and in life. Yet hundreds of children across Marin go without this essential resource. How would you address this early childhood education need?
We have some absolutely incredible programs in Marin County, in Novato in particular. The North Bay Children's Center, where I am chef and resident. What they're doing there is a model not just for Marin. It could be a model that could be used across the nation. Early childhood education. I grew up in that Jim Crow South, where Black kids, it was supposed to be separate but equal. It was definitely separate, nothing like equal. But we have to make sure children, whether brown, black, white, or whatever origin they're from, that they get the same opportunity to education that every other child does. So early education is something that's near and dear to my heart. I learned to read at age 26. I don't want any child to go through that. So yes, we have to do that. So single parents like myself can have daycare for our children. Single mothers, single parents, we have to have daycare to give children that foundation in education. So yes, I will work hard. I do feel very strong that the supervisor, he shared today, whoever becomes supervisor needs to be involved in the school program. We need to get in and speak to children and share with them that there is a civic duty for us to serve and give back. So I've got ideas of bringing those partnerships, again, with the local businesses, that we can make strong healthcare available to every child in Novato and District 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris? Please unmute yourself. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Would you please?
Sure. High quality early childhood education is foundational to children's success in school and in life. Yet hundreds of children across Marin go without this essential resource. How would you address this early childhood education need?
Well, as a fiscal conservative, I might start sounding like a broken record tonight. My biggest concerns are, where is the money going to come from? Of course, early childhood education is extremely important, and it creates building blocks in the brain that will accompany that child into adulthood and help their cognitive thought processes. So it's very important. But what I have seen here in Marin is that the children have been used as a funding hockey puck. Whenever there are budget shortfalls, one of the first things that's brought onto the table is defunding the schools, so that we can then later justify yet another tax measure on the ballot. And of course, it pulls on our heartstrings, and invariably we always vote to raise our taxes yet again. In California, we have among the highest tax rates in the whole country, and yet we have the least services and the least effective government. We really have to look at where is this money coming from? How can we find places in the budget that are wasteful and recover those monies to be used in important issues like this? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for the next question, we're going to begin with Magali. Here's the question. Recently, there has been a steady uptick in immigration detentions. What specific actions would you promote to ensure that our neighbors impacted by detention have access to essential resources? Please unmute yourself.
As a daughter of immigrants, this issue is dear to my heart. We've seen what has happened across our country, from California to Minneapolis. If elected, I will continue to make sure that our budget is aligned with our values. This past year, the Board of Supervisors have allocated $500,000 for resources to the immigrant community. I will ensure that we continue to do that if elected, so that our immigrant brothers and sisters get the legal help that they need. But not only that, they're an important part of our workforce. They're our neighbors, and want to continue to make sure that they're protected regardless of, of their background, socioeconomic status. And I will commit to fighting for them.
Thank you. Andy? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, as a supervisor, we are limited to roles that we can take with regards to this. I know the supervisors just had a meeting and a vote, and they all voted for not having ICE in our communities. Many undocumented workers are engaged in our communities in a positive way. I do not agree with some of the current tactics of ICE and other things. However, as Magali said, there's money out there, but it should be a stepping stone. These people in our communities that are fantastic, hardworking, and wonderful families need to go through the steps of how do we help them to be a citizen? How do we educate them? We have classes at the JCC. We have classes at College of Marin. We can do all of these things, but we're starting at the end of the tracks. Let's start at the beginning. Let's educate and get them started on citizenship and support them through the whole process, not just scratch the surface at the beginning, because what ends up happening every time, we lose them at the end. So let's not have that happen. Let's have these wonderful people in our communities start that process, and let's check in with the people that are teaching and make sure there's a result at the end. No more just tossing money out. Let's follow the funds, make sure it finishes the project.
Thank you. The question will next go to Curtis. Curtis, are you ready? Are you there? Curtis is having trouble with his video for everyone watching, so I just want to make sure everybody knows. But you're there now.
I'm going to go off camera, and I'm going to. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Recently, there has been a steady uptick in immigration detentions. What specific actions would you promote to ensure that our neighbors impacted by detention have access to essential resources?
First off, we need to uphold our sanctuary county, our sanctuary cities in Marin. At the recent Truth Act Forum, I was the only of the 5 candidates seen tonight there speaking out, no ICE in Marin. So I feel like my neighbors, whether you are a registered voter, undocumented voter, you need the same protections that every person that comes into Marin County should have. Again, I grew up in that Jim Crow South, and I could tell you horror stories about what it was like being a Black person back in those early 60s. I remember the day Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered on my mother's birthday. So I don't want any person visiting Marin County to feel like they have to go through those types of things again. So I want to fight for protections of children, for single moms, single fathers, for every person that's in Marin County, whether you're visiting, living there, or what. So I'm very very passionate about this problem. If we are safe county, let's follow the laws that we set. Love what the supervisor doing this year, not taking any of the SCAP money. However, I think that should be extended on. So we don't need that dirty money. So yes, I will fight for our undocumented as well as our documented people in Marin County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Chris.
Oh, I guess I am unmuted. These are very complex issues that you're asking us about tonight, and I don't think 90 seconds is definitely not enough to cover it all. But California is spending tens of billions of dollars right now on immigrants and the homeless situation with no discernible results. We can't just keep throwing money at problems with little or no oversight. We must audit every dollar we spend on these issues and demand that every dollar we spend is spent wisely. Again, this is an issue that pulls on our heartstrings. I think these people are all being exploited for political gain. All people should be treated with respect and dignity, and no one wants any of our guests here to suffer for it. We really need to continue this conversation and dig in to the crux of the financial problem so that we can fix it. So let's continue this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
Yeah, I mean these are pretty complicated issues, but there's a couple problems with this. One is a lot of people's ideas rely on federal funding. How we react to ICE is going to affect that federal funding, particularly in the next 2 years. On top of that, currently one of the best economic engines for immigrants is being scuttled by the Board of Supervisors, micro enterprise home kitchens. They blocked that ability for them to earn up to like $107,000 a year. To help immigrants in this community, you have to do it twofold. You have to help them basically get the ability to, either if they're here on a work visa or if they want to become a naturalized citizen, you have to provide resources for them. You have to gain access to that to know that information. On top of that, how do I put this? If you rely on the federal government for 37% of your budget and they cut that 37%, which they would, you're gonna have to cut a bunch of other programs. So one of the best ways to deal with the immigrant population is to twofold: provide economic engines for them and also legal assistance. Not legal assistance knowing their rights when ICE comes, but helping them before that, like Andy was saying, when they at the beginning, helping them get, it's not that complicated to get someone a work visa. It just takes there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Thank you. All right, the next question, we're going to begin with Andy. The question is, what is the current state of emergency preparedness in Marin County, with special focus on the threat of wildfires and flooding? In your view, what more needs to be done? Andy, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I love this question because I've been a recipient, but I think Marin County, it was one of my platform ideas when I decided to run for supervisor. So I went on the county website. It took me a little bit of navigating, and they have a wonderful, very interactive emergency preparedness plan. I was very impressed. I think we continue funding that to whatever it is needed. The unfortunate part about it, it took me a half of a day. I'm not a very good guy surfing the net, but it took me 3 hours, 4 hours to find my way there and to research and find out how this all works. Can you imagine somebody in the elder population trying to find this? Absolutely not. We need to use postcards, seminars, brochures. We need to make it accessible to everyone, not just the people who are really good at surfing the net and finding their way through the county's website. But I think they've done a great job. I live in a very wooded area. I took advantage of the 50% payback once you had your vegetation cut back. It was very useful for me and my wife. We plan on using it in the future when it's time to change out our windows to double pane windows. So I think all of those need to be funded to the fullest for safety in Marin.
Thank you. Same question, Curtis? Are you on the phone?
Yes, I'm here. Do you mind repeating it, Linda?
Sure. What is the current state of emergency preparedness in Marin County with special focus on the threat of wildfire and flooding? In your view, what more needs to be done?
Well, this is the problem, again, facing us up and down the California state line. I love, as a master gardener, we have we're promoting the 5-foot barrier to harden our homes against wildfire. We've got to, the problem I'm dealing with today, this internet connection. I find that with a lot of seniors, and especially in the part of Marin I'm in, San Marin area, the Wi-Fi is in and out. So when we're having trouble connecting and communicating, we've got to solve those problems. Another problem I see is that the one way in, one way out. There's some areas in Marin we've got to do that. And I was speaking with the fire chief recently. In fact, the Marin professional firefighters have endorsed my campaign, and we're trying to come up with solutions for those one way in, one way out, like Pacheco Valley, certain parts of Indian Valley. So we have to think ahead. We have to be ready for these situations because they are coming. So one of the key things we got to do is home hardening, respect that 5-foot barrier, make sure seniors and the underserved communities have access to protect and harden their homes. I look forward to solving these problems with everyone in the community. Thank you.
Thanks. Same question, Chris? Chris, are you
Yes,
unmuted?
so I was looking to see if I was still muted. Marin does not have adequate resource reserves to deal with a prolonged natural disaster or, heaven forbid, another pandemic. We're prone to fire and flooding, and I don't believe that enough is being done to mitigate these issues. Part of that problem is we're not increasing our water storage capacity, nor are we maintaining our forests adequately. Though in recent last couple of years, they have made more efforts, but it's not enough. And this is due to ill-advised ecological policies, such as we're not maintaining our waterways, specifically allowing for better drainage and less flooding because of restrictions on dredging our low-lying creeks and canals. We can and should do more fire prevention work throughout the county, and I would support responsibly increasing budgets in this area. We also have huge issues with escape and evacuation routes that have not been properly addressed. Mill Valley, Fairfax, Corte Madera, San Anselmo are all very vulnerable to that issue. So the discussion continues.
Thank you. Magali, same question.
Yeah, so in 2020, Marin County voters passed Measure C, which created the Marin Wildfire Prevention Authority. And it's been a really great organization to provide education, provide resources to protect your home. I've been able to attend some of the Ember Stompers in the last couple of years, where they provide information to our seniors, our young students. But one of the issues that I keep hearing at the door is people getting dropped from their insurance or their increase in premiums. So I want to be able to work with the next insurance commissioner, even though we don't have like authority, but also work with other county supervisors to work with the future insurance commissioner so that people can protect their assets. The other thing that I want to do is increase be more creative to make sure that more people have access to the great information that that people share. For example, I know that the employees from the Marin Wildfire Prevention Authority go door knocking to educate people of how to protect their homes, and just being able to be creative to make sure that our seniors and our Spanish-speaking families understand where to get the information.
Thank you. Next question, we're going to start with Curtis.
No, I didn't get to go.
Did I skip you?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no worries. So I live in Indian Valley, so wildfire is a pretty big deal over here, especially losing your insurance. This is actually what EIFDs are perfect for. They allow you to basically, like I said, leverage the future value of properties, even though today to pay for infrastructure over the next 45 years. Um, we need fire hydrants in Indian Valley. We need levees, higher levees in Belmar Keys. Right now, Belmar Keys by 2050 will be underwater. This isn't a question, and on top of that, workforce. There's like 3 firefighters right now at Sleepy Hollow running one engine. So you have to also recruit new workers. Basically, this has to be done with infrastructure. You cannot fight or lobby your way to get that money because, truthfully, most places don't have it. We have to come up with our own ways to be able to fund these without causing us to have to tax more. The Measure C was a great measure that passed in 2020, but it's causing people to have what's called tax fatigue, and costs keep going up. I mean, taxes have gone up somewhere around 44% in the last 8 years. You cannot. You're going to have people basically not be able to afford to stay here one way or the other. So we might as well figure out ways to leverage the future value of our properties than, keep increasing taxes to where the voter just won't pass it. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, everyone got a chance to talk about emergency preparedness. Next question, we're going to start with Curtis. We have heard many times that Marin County is a hard place to do business. Why do you think that is? And what needs to be done to make the county more business friendly?
That's the question we're hearing in so many cities across the country now. And so we're not unique in hearing this. However, that being said, we need to streamline the process. I started my first business in Marin County, in Novato, Peaches Produce, named for my home state of Georgia, built right there in Novato, and we thrived. One of the key things we need to do is give scaffolding to young people and people that want to start the business. When I say scaffolding, I mean like help them set up, streamline that process. A friend of mine, mi amigo, was having a hard time getting his business license at the city. So we went down, we talked through the process. He had his license within 2 days. So we've got to figure out a way to do that for everyone that wants to do business in Marin. So there are some things that are happening like in Mill Valley, the idea of really dropping the taxes to help people start their businesses. We have to make it easier for folks to get in. If you're taking 6 months to a year to open a business, think of all the tax dollars we're losing. Plus, it takes that small business that much longer to turn a profit and to hire people in Marin. So we've got to come up with incentives to have people start business, open business, and hire people in Novato. And I know how to do that because I've been consulting around the world with that situation. I helped start the Food Network. I've ran my own companies, and I consult with companies all across the globe. So look forward to doing that for folks in Novato and District 5 as your supervisor.
Again, I just want to remind everyone watching that Curtis is in Alaska at a charity event and having connectivity issues. So we're all doing the best we can to at least get him at least audio to be able to answer the questions. So just as a reminder, that's why you don't see him on the screen. Same question to Chris. Let me know if you want me to repeat the question. Please unmute yourself, Chris. You're on mute. Chris, you're on mute.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Please repeat the question.
Sure. We have heard many times that Marin County is a hard place to do business. Why do you think that is? And what needs to be done to make the county more business friendly?
Honestly, I think it's by design. I've owned a business in Marin for almost 40 years now, and this is one of the most important issues to me. As a small business owner, I've stood by while year after year, more and more unreasonable regulation has been imposed. I'll repeat that. Unreasonable regulation has been imposed on my industry and many others involving small businesses, directly affecting the bottom lines and making it ever more difficult to be profitable. I will advocate for a thorough review of all business unfriendly regulation and fight to reform this hostile business environment that we created. It will take a lot of work on that front. And if we ever hope to attract businesses to come back or even just to get started here, there's a lot of work to do. And Sacramento has everything to do with that. We need them off our residents' backs and out of their pockets. Thank you.
Thanks. Mark, you're next. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. So you got to do two things. You got to fix the front door, and you got to build a real ladder. Fixing the front door just basically means you got to have some sort of single point where a small business owner can go to fulfill all the obligations that a small business has to do. I used to consult with small businesses, and for example, building a building, you got to go to the fire department, you got to go to a city or county, depending on which one it is. Then you got to go, if it's a restaurant, you got to go to Health and Human Services. It's jumping around to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, because they're either, they're just starting out in the business world. Most people are not a serial entrepreneur. I'm sure Andy and Curtis will tell you the first time they did it was harder than anything, and by the next one or the next one that they did, it got easier and easier, but people need someone to basically help them, like a concierge service. Then we also need ladders. We still have not, home enterprise kitchens have been sitting on the books for like a year and a half now. This is very simple. It's ability for someone to cook up to 30 meals in their house. This is two types of people that will be using this are immigrants and stay-at-home moms, farmers markets. It's something that they're trying to figure out what the fees should be charged, when currently you shouldn't be charging any fees. You should be encouraging that growth, because 73% of home kitchens in the state are financially independent within 6 months. You want to grow those businesses to help them at the beginning, so that at some point, yes, you can charge them fees or whatever, but in the beginning, don't overtax them, don't overburden them.
Thank you. Magali, you're next. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, one of the things I would do is look to improve our processes and streamline them. Also, we are losing businesses, so understanding why they're leaving. The other thing that I would do is lean on the Chamber of Commerce of Novato and San Rafael so that we can recruit new businesses in Marin County. The other thing that I'm really excited is about the Ames Institute that's going to be located where the old Birkenstock is currently, or was currently located, and how many businesses that's going to help our local economy and support our small businesses. The other thing that I want to do is be able to provide resources to the people that don't know how to start a business. And I know that there's a lot of grants and funding to support small businesses. So I'm committed to continue listening and learning from the chambers.
Thank you. Andy?
Yeah, hello. This is near and dear to my heart, and I would love like a half an hour on this, as being a small business owner since 1984, I believe was my first business. And back then it was easy, and now it's not easy. But we have rules on the books. It's not about giving free permits or discounted permits. It's about enforcing the laws we have on the books. I got a call from a person that got my mailer and called me and said he's really frustrated. He has a pizza place and there's a food truck across the street. They're taking all my business and I have to pay, and he's right, because I have a restaurant in my business, $900 a year, plus you get inspected every 3 months, and then you get inspection fees. And if you fail a little bit, then you're in big trouble too. So these pop-up food vehicles right now, I can count 5 in Novato, no permits, no fees they have to pay. So if they don't have to pay fees, I don't want to pay fees either. The way they're combating it in other communities is that if they're going to pop up if they're popping up, I can keep going. I tell you, you get me heated on the box here. If you have to have a pop-up a restaurant or whatever it is, a food truck, you have to supply a hand washing station, a commercial where you pump the bottom and you have paper towels and soap and you wash your hands. That has to be for every single pop-up kitchen, whatever you want, out of the Volkswagen bus food truck. And if they don't, they get fined. And 3 times you get fined, you end up in the pokey. That's it.
Thank you. All right, next question, we're going to start with Chris. As supervisor, what steps will you take to support our veterans? Specifically, what will you do to make transitioning veterans feel welcome? What will you do to end veteran homelessness and prevent veteran suicide? Chris, are you unmuted?
I'm here. I'm just, wow, what a question. I'm very supportive of veterans in our country. I think they've historically been neglected. A very good friend of mine is a commander with Dave and works with some of the veterans posts. And one of their biggest concerns is suicide. They come home, they can't find jobs. It really is a situation that deserves our full attention. I'm concerned mostly about budget, issues because the money that's been wasted in California prevents us from being able to take care of people who really need it the most. Veterans are among those. I know quite a few well-adjusted veterans. I also know quite a few veterans who never readjusted back into society. So, just throwing money is something that I'm against. I want to spend wise money, and I want to spend it where it's needed most, and veterans need it. We have to find it. We're in trouble. California is going to be $200 billion in debt by the end of this year, after 2 years ago having a $100 billion surplus. How does that even happen? Money's wasted, and lots of it.
Thank you. Mark, you're next. Please unmute yourself.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. As supervisor, what steps will you take to support our veterans? Specifically, what will you do to make transitioning veterans feel welcome? What will you do to end veteran homelessness and prevent veteran suicide?
Jobs. We need a lot of workers. So most of them come back with are highly skilled in one position or another. If they're a medic, we need EMS workers. We need a lot of different types of jobs. We need city workers. Most people in military, a lot of people work in admin. We need teachers. Bob Lacey was my teacher at San Marin. He was a former Army Ranger. Some of those life experiences that he taught us in his class stuck with us the rest of our life. That's really where you can help them, is you can help them with providing workforce housing. You can help them with providing them with a job. That gets them health care. Healthcare helps them be treated. You can use it as a recruitment option. We need police officers. We need Novato currently 10 years is 90% turnover rate right now. That's kind of what you would do, is basically use them as a pipeline to help with our workforce, because we need to figure that out as we age. Thank you.
Thanks. Magali, you're next.
Yeah, so at Novato High School, I spent 4 years as a junior ROTC cadet. So veterans have a special place in my heart. I also got a scholarship from them. So for me, it's really important to expand the mental services for our veterans, but also partner with different organizations to expand housing. I know that we have veterans affordable housing that were with us, that was created a couple months ago in partnership with Homeward Bound. So continuing continuing to invest in infrastructure so that they can have a place to live. The other thing that I want to do is how do we provide a workforce training program specifically for veterans, and definitely like to partner with the Veteran Affairs Department to ensure that our veterans have jobs. The other thing that I would do is also make sure that they have healthcare, access to good healthcare and closer to home. But I'm committed to helping our veterans.
Thank you. Andy, you're next.
Wonderful. Well, we need to give credit where credit is due. Marin County Veterans Services Office to assist in their families, that's available. Homeward Bound of Marin offers a dedicated Veterans Affairs. Wonderful. Marin's Health and Human Services offers special veteran crisis line. Marin's 24/7 suicide prevention crisis hotline. Marin has had a zero homelessness goal for the veterans. They've done a pretty good job with that. Here are there's several volunteer organizations throughout Marin that assist veterans and their families. I will publicize and promote these services to promote who may not be aware. I think a lot of these services, people just don't know they're out there. I also want to create a county roommate vetting service. Many veterans live alone, their loved one has passed away, and they have a spare bedroom or two. This service would match up veterans of similar interests with other veterans. And I think really the best part about it is they would probably like the company. I think that is I think that as of Trek, I mean, my business, we actually offer the VFW a place where they can raise money for their organization, a bingo game every 3 months. Love to see you all there. So thank you very much. Marin County's done a pretty darn good job, but let's start something like a veterans who live alone and find them a great roommate that they can have camaraderie with and talk about war stories and all the things that they always do. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Curtis, you're up.
Well, first off, Linda, this is near and dear to my heart. My brother Jeffrey was an American hero. So was his best friend Steve Camp, and so many family members that have served. So one of the things I want us to think about is being of service, being a servant leader. We can't go in assuming we know everything. And one of the things I do as a consultant, when I walk into a business, the first thing I try to do is take inventory of the most precious asset that companies have, and that's their human resources. That's their human capital. So what we need to do when it comes to this type of situation, no matter what it is, we've got to ask people what they need. How arrogant of me to assume I know what any veteran or anyone who's in need. We need to ask first. So we've got to make a situation so people feel safe and they can feel vulnerable to come to us as supervisors. I want to be the first call. I want to make sure that people in Novato and District 5 know that they have a supervisor who cares for them. One of my mottos, Linda, and the whole team here is the fact that when you become my friend, you become my family. I moved to Marin County when I was 19 years old. I was a boy in Georgia. I became a man in California. I love Novato, Marin County, and that's how I want to serve the veterans who've given so much to this incredible country and this beautiful town that we call home, Novato. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me do it on time here. All right, next question, which might turn out to be our last, depending on how long these answers are. But the next question, we're going to start with Mark. What steps can be taken to make Marin a more age-friendly county and to ensure that older adults have access to essential services as well as opportunities to remain active in the community? Mark?
Oh, so I saw this at MOC. This woman spoke about something that was close to me because my family has a history of dementia. She talked about she's taking care of her husband. She's the caregiver, and she needed adult daycare because she just wanted a place where she could breathe. That got me thinking actually about. I was only thinking about EIFDs for Belmar and Keys because I was only thinking about it for climate change. But it can actually be used for childcare facilities, adult daycare centers, and a bunch of other things that are infrastructure related. I published an article on the Patch about this. It's an idea of a care hub. This county could build literally a daycare center for adults. And on top of that, for the IHSS workers, have affordable housing. I think also another thing that can be done is mobility. Mobility is a hugely important thing. We're coming to an age where self-driving cars, robo-taxis, all those things are going to be available. That's something to seriously look at because I know right now Missile Stop works great. It's a great program, but it's inundated with the amount of people. As we grow from 22% to 42% over 65, you're going to start to see us to need to build less in the schooling area and more in the helping elders area, whether it's daycare centers or just like the Margaret Todd Center here, where people can congregate, play games with one another, enjoy themselves in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Magali, you're next. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you for that question. So we have a really great center here at Margaret Todd Center. How do we provide classes that we aren't provided, and doing a survey to ensure that our seniors have adequate classes. The other thing that I would do is, as our population is aging, we need to make sure that we have a workforce that supports seniors to age in place. In the current California governor's proposal, they want to cut about $230 million for IHSS workers. We need to figure out how we find solutions so that we can pay them and we have a workforce that's going to support them. The other project that I'm really excited that I want to continue champions is Homeward Bound just bought a property in San Rafael to support seniors because they're the fastest growing homeless population. So ensuring that they have adequate information and partnering with the Aging Commission to continue to serve the needs of our seniors here in our community.
Thank you. Andy, you're up.
Great. Hey, Mark, I love that idea of a senior daycare facility funded. I think that's a wonderful idea. I also support the Margaret Todd Senior Center, Nova Row. Our Rotary clubs here in Novato have done a fantastic job. I think it gets down to the county and the services the county provides. Again, everything is online. People of that age group don't have a computer, don't know how to find the information. We need to fund and promote these access to these services. And I think that in the long run, once we promote them, once we support places like Nova Row and Margaret Todd and the places in San Rafael and the San Rafael Community Center, they'll be more attended. The attendance is not that great when you go to these events that they have, or these. I was invited to one today for next week, but he's all trying to figure out, well, I don't know when anybody's going to come. So I think the transportation is there. There's multiple bus services that will get them around, but I think the most important thing is getting the word out and letting people know how to access and how to get the services that they need.
Thank you. Curtis?
Like everyone, this is something that we all want to grow into a happy senior part of our life. My mother and my father are the bedrocks. In the Black culture, mom and dad passed on a few years ago. However, we speak them into life every day. And I want the seniors that are in our community to know that I care for them. The fact is that we have to take care of the most vulnerable in our community. So one of the things as a supervisor, we have the mouthpiece to really echo and let people know what's available. I want the seniors to know when I say you're my friend, you're my family. If you're my family, I'm going to take care of you. And that's the mindset a servant leader brings to his, her, or their job, because we want the people to lean into us for help. So the seniors, if you're having a problem in town, we'll get that out. We'll bring that to you. I'm not sure if the background noise. Hey guys, can you keep it down? I'm doing a Zoom here, please. I'm in Alaska, so we're dealing with it right now.
We're okay.
Okay, fantastic.
We hear you really well.
The thing is that we have to take care of our mamas. We have to take care of our daddies. We have to take care of our grandpas and our grandmas. And we can do that in Marin County. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks. Chris, you're next.
Can you please repeat the question?
Sure. What steps can be taken to make Marin a more age-friendly county and to ensure that older adults have access to essential services as well as opportunities to remain active in their community?
Well, the popular answer is to throw more money at the problem. There's certainly a growing population of seniors here in Marin, and I believe that there is a somewhat adequate supply of paid assisted living facilities. Unfortunately, there's not enough facilities for those who cannot afford to live in one of those places. Marin is spending very large sums of money supporting immigrants and homeless from other states at the expense of lifelong residents who have paid taxes here their entire lives. The goal of helping all people is applaudable. However, there's a limit to how much money we take in, and there must be a limit to how much we spend. We cannot afford deficit spending, and I could never support deficit spending, like California's soon-to-be $200 billion debt. Combine that with the recent revelation of $425 billion in waste, and you get a picture of how dire this situation actually is. Yes, more money should be spent caring for our elderly. We all want that. We have to find it by eliminating the waste and the graft. So maybe my answer isn't as popular as others because I'm not so willing to just throw money. That is not the entire answer. Thank you.
All right, well, we've run out of time, so that concludes the question portion of the forum. Before candidates make their closing statements, I want to share some key election information. Slide 1, please. Here are some important dates. Beginning May 4th, ballots will be mailed to all registered voters. Ballots can be returned by U.S. mail, but if you mail your ballots, they must be postmarked on or before Election Day and received by County Elections Office on or before June 9th. Ballots can also be returned at official, secure ballot drop box locations or at any vote center. May 5th, official ballot drop boxes will be available. For in-person voting, vote centers replace assigned polling places. Voters may vote in person at any vote center in Marin. A complete list of locations is included in your voter information guide. Vote center hours differ by location. Opening dates range from May 4th to June 2nd, but all of them are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Election Day. Before we continue with these dates, let's show them in Spanish. Slide 2, please. May 18th is the last day to register to vote online. Conditional voter registration will be available from May 19th through Election Day, June 2nd, at the Elections Department and Civic Center and at all open vote centers. June 2nd is Election Day. Mailed ballots must be postmarked by this date. Vote centers are open until 11 p.m. Ballots returned using a ballot drop box must be deposited by 8 p.m. Be sure to sign your ballot if you return it by mail or in a drop box. If you have questions, please reach out to Marin County's election department in person, online, or by phone. Slide 3, please. There are many online resources for election information, including the League's website at marinlwv.org. Another helpful League of Women Voters resource is Vote 411, an online tool that provides information about what's on your ballot. Candidates are invited to enter their information. Voters can get a personalized list of candidates, including their biographies and top priorities, and information about local ballot measures and more, both in English and in Spanish. Visit vote411.org. Thank you. And now the candidates will make closing statements of 1.5 minutes each. We're going to go in reverse order of opening statements, starting with Andy.
Wonderful. Well, as a lifelong resident of this community, I have a desire to give back and serve. With my life, business, and community experience, I can bring a unique perspective to the problems facing this county. My goal is to approach all challenges that the county faces with transparency, accessibility, and accountability. As a fiscally responsible person, I will work to have realistic goals. I will work to lower taxes on small businesses. I will be thoughtful and deliberate when voting on public policy matters. I will work to obtain funding to tackle issues such as homelessness, which includes my idea of a New Hope Village, which is a public RV park, campground, and tiny home community with an educational facility. Clean streets and waterways, just to name a few. We have a long, long road ahead of us and a responsibility, whichever one of us is moved on to the next step. And I am here and I ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Magali, you're next.
Again, I would like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. I would be honored to receive your votes. You can check out my website at magali.com to learn more about my platforms and what I hope to accomplish. During this time of federal and state uncertainty, I want to be able to serve and be a champion of affordable housing, protect our environment, find solutions to the homelessness issue, and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to thrive in our community. I've been endorsed by Senator Mike McGuire, 3 of the 5 supervisors, the Marin Women's Political Action Committee, the Marin Firefighters, and I hope to earn your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, you're up.
Can you hear me? So the time of status quo needs to change. How we operate now is far different than we've done for the last 70 years. We have to rethink how we do parcel taxes. We have to rethink how we do revenue. We have to rethink how we recruit, how we retain employees. We have a lot of deferred infrastructure. We don't have enough money coming in to ever pay for all the different types of infrastructure we need, especially at a time when the federal government, whether it's Donald Trump in office or the next president, truthfully, we know it doesn't take a genius to know that we're going to be broke. The federal government's fastest growing item is their interest rate they pay on debt. Our state blew through $900 million worth of a safety net. We have to figure out our ways to be self-reliant in our revenue sources, because right now having 37% of it coming from the state or federal government just doesn't work. That's what you're seeing with currently with Health and Human Services. The kind of cuts that they're going to have to make are going to hurt a lot of people if we don't figure out how to become self-sufficient. Now, there's ways to do it. It's just going to take new thought processes to have it done. You can see a lot of different ideas of mine on my website. That's www.marklewis4supervisor.com. I ask for your vote. We need to figure this out. It's not going to take the status quo that we've had. It's going to take a whole new way of thinking. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chris, you're next. Please unmute yourself. Chris, you're on mute. Got it.
Oh, okay. Where's my statement? Here we go. All of the issues we discussed this evening require expenditures over and above existing levels. Many seeking office are too quick to advocate for ever-expanding budgets. It's not so popular to call for reductions, but sustainability and responsibility require it. We cannot sustain, in any sort of humanitarian manner, ever-increasing spending levels. I believe it's time for us to push back on bad policy, to call out the silver tongues that lie and smile, to root out waste and inefficiency at every level of our government. I will defend liberty and the Constitution of the United States, stand for deregulation, abundant resources, education reform, parents' rights, and property rights. I will support increasing our water supply and work to repair our compromised election system. I will help to restore Marin's besieged agricultural and small business communities and require school boards, administrators, and educators to be held to a strict nonpartisan standard. That is not the case today. I will promote limited government and emergency preparedness, and I will always oppose government mandates, unconstitutional taxes, and fees. My name is Chris Carpiniello, and I hope I have been able to earn your vote tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, Curtis, your turn.
Well, thank you again for the League of Women Voters for putting this on. It's nice to be with all 5 candidates at one time. And my apologies for the technical difficulties at the beginning, which highlights one of the problems we have in Marin County. We're in the middle of this wonderful technical part of the world, and we have lousy Wi-Fi in Marin. We have bad Wi-Fi in California. My campaign was founded on listening, and I'm hearing you, Marin County. You know, we're a grassroots campaign, and I've got a swell of folks that are joining the campaign. Yesterday, I received endorsements from the Marin Professional Firefighters, the North Bay Builders Trades Association, the North Bay Building Trades, also 350 Marin Action. So as your candidate endorsed by climate change activists, I'm for reversing climate change, slowing down sea level rise. There's so much that we can do together. So I'm listening to you, Marin, and I'm also hearing you. I know you want housing. I know you want support services for seniors and small families, small children. We can do that. We have some incredible situations in Marin that needs to be highlighted. North Bay Children's Center, what the Marin Foundation is doing. There's so many great organizations here that we need to bring together. And I feel very strongly, as the role of the supervisors evolving, we need a salesperson that can promote Marin County, Novato, and District 5, not only in Sacramento and Los Angeles, also in Washington, D.C., Paris, France, and Sydney, Australia. I have business connections around the world, and I want to promote Marin County, that we're open for business. I want to promote that Novato is open for business. We can do this together. It's a collaborative approach and bringing our communities together. Again, I say, when you become my friend, you become my family. That's why we have videos of people like Denise Athis and her husband, George, people from all of Marin County, Sue and Vince Latanzio. I've gotten endorsements from past mayors, the present mayor, the mayor pro tem in Novato. So the folks downtown Novato, the folks out in the 5 districts, 5 areas in Novato, know who I am and know how I will work hard for you every day. My website is curtisakins.us, and I use that intentionally, US, because it's us. We're in this together. So visit the website, join us, and help us help our citizens. Again, I want to be a servant leader. Servant leaders put you before self. I'm here in Alaska speaking with Rotary. I met one of the first women. I actually met the first woman who became a Rotary member, Sylvia. She is just incredible, and she gets to speak up here. And I'm in that same vein. It's about breaking new ground. We can't keep doing the same old, expecting differences. If we're going to build houses, we're going to raise our tax base, we've got to get new blood in there. And I'm that new blood. I only want to be supervisor. I'm not running for anything else. I'm Curtis Akins, and I want your vote. Thank you so much tonight.
Thank you. Thank you to the candidates for participating in this event tonight, and to the League Forum team, and to Community Action Marin, the Novato Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and VFW Post 7816 for partnering with us on this forum. Special thanks to our Spanish interpreter and to our friends at Community Media Center of Marin for their technical support. And a big thank you to members of the community who submitted questions for the candidates. A video of tonight's forum will be posted on the League's website in the next few days. Thank you again for joining us this evening. And most important, thank you for voting.